Trust that wasn't a full-on defuse. The only player to check that is Ken. He's blocked by Nebulous. Now Zombs has to go back.
Hello everyone, Bugsy back here with the Bind Astra guide. This time we're going to be comparing NA and EU Astra players as well, which turned out to be insanely interesting, as suggested by this comment. Other than that, all is the same. Representing NA today will be Sentinel's Zombs, Ryze's supamen, Envy's Marved, and FaZe's ZachaREEEEE. And across the Atlantic we have Supermassive Blaze's Brave, Gambit's Redgar, and G2's AvovA. As always, we'll look at where they place their pre-round stars. Then, we will look at how they play off their stars and place more in the mid-round. Along with this, we'll analyze the different regions' approaches to using Astra. Finally, we'll go through some SoloQ tips as we usually do. Let's start with attack today because this is where the most interesting difference occurs. NA averages exactly 1 pre-round star per buy round, whereas EU averages about 4.5. Looking at the graphs and maps on screen will tell you where each region places their pre-round stars. Before we analyze any specific stars though, I'm going to be a bit controversial. EU fundamentally doesn't understand how to play Astra. Their coaches even watch my videos and still don't get it. As I've made clear in past guides, Astra's strengths come in her versatility and ability to quickly react to situations with global pressure. By placing all 5 stars most rounds, EU players ruin this ability. Maybe this is why most of their teams still play Brim and get wrecked by the few who kind of know how to play Astra. Anyways, let's look at some cool stars. In NA, of the few pre-round stars placed on attack, this is the only one that's worth going over. This Astra smoke lets you catch a timing on the enemy if they arrow for info. Here's how it's used in a pro match. A quick note that EU did not place the star once in the rounds I watched. Looking at the EU setups, G2 and Gambit basically had a set default they would place every single round. And again, I want to reiterate, I personally don't get the idea. The G2 Astra must just be slow at placing stars, because I see no other reason to place a B CT star and an A Heaven star before the round even starts. And Gambit just seems to be wasting stars and losing flexibility waiting for recalls, as these 4 stars rarely ended up even being used. I mean, let's say they get a quick 2-for-1 trade on either site on attack. They would need to either wait 10 seconds to have smokes, then push, the defender should already be rotated by then, or they would have to push site with no smokes at all. Both options seem terrible. I will quickly add that SMB did seem to play on attack much more like the NA teams did, rather than the EU ones. Now, let's move on to the defensive side. This is where the meta seems to stabilize, with NA averaging 3.7 to EU's 3.8 pre-round stars. Looking at the graphs, EU clearly has much more variance in where they place their stars, with the sole strat that sticks out on both sides being that if you don't star the A one-way short, and then put a second under it, you're basically trolling, unless your team has a push or something planned. These short stars should be used in combination like so, to stop a push. Other than this combo, NA likes to take showers about half the time using this star combo. EU, on the other hand, generally plays their remaining stars passively, just smoking the other entrances. Here, I see no issue with the EU setups. However, sometimes they do weird things, and like stack 3 stars when I think they aren't so useful. For example, on this round, SMB put 3 stars in mid-hookah entrance, and none short. Naturally, this just resulted in them losing A, and then quickly losing the round after. On defense, I believe you require a short presence every single buy round, either with utility or with a push. Now, let's take a look at how the regions played as a result of their pre-round stars. As I alluded to in the last section, on defense, teams use 2 stars to hold short, 1 or 2 to take some control, maybe showers or B long, and sometimes mid, then just place stars at chokes to quickly smoke them off if needed. This trend mostly holds for both NA and EU. On attack, however, let's delve into each region's philosophy of using Astra, starting with the Americans. In NA, Astra is used as a highly reactive champ. She quickly sets up site takes for their team based off of reads and picks around the map. A normal B take would have a CT and an elbow smoke, then maybe a sucker stun placed off of info. Backside and cubby are good options for this. A normal A take would have a heaven smoke, a CT smoke, then a suck placed in any of these locations. Again, based off of info or an educated guess. Now that we understand takes and how to react as Astra, let's throw all that out the window and see how EU uses her. I believe that the idea behind placing such a setup every single round is not to actually get a pick off one of these sucks, but to have the presence of them deter any antsy defenders. I mean, at the pro level, any team that does the bare minimum scouting would see that G2 and Gambit do these setups almost every single round. If there's always a star in the TP, why would you ever take it? While this reasoning is sound, in my opinion, the nerfs to Astra's recall time makes this a poor use of her abilities because you remove your team's potential to have any fast-paced plays. If I was NA, in Berlin, I would just say not to use any defensive utility for the first 30 seconds or until I hear the recalled stars, because they won't have any smokes to do a site take with. That's why this EU meta seems so useless. It's just too easy to counter. Finally, as always, let's look at a few more tips you should use to rank up as an Astra player. Our first tip, that we see in pro games too, is to use sucks to stop aggro pushes and op peeks from defenders. Placing a pre-round star's showers, B long orb, or at the hookah entrance can be a good idea if you either want to take map control quickly or are constantly getting peeked from any of those angles. Here's a quick demonstration of how you'd want to use this tip. Firstly, you would place your suck showers about here. Then, as soon as the round starts, you start running to take showers control, sucking your star as soon as it goes off cooldown. This should grant you control. The reason we don't see this push too often in pro matches is because both teams understand how to use Astra at a high level, in NA at least. So this shower suck gets countered by these two defending stars, which prevent the attacking Astra from taking showers control quickly. The second SoloQ tip of the day will be somewhat of a cheese strat. Bind is a pretty flat map with a few boxes and trucks that duelists will often use to get that surprise height advantage. While most people know about this boost you can do here, did you know agents with no movement abilities can also get boosted here and be on top of truck, or even this box? All you have to do is have a teammate come at you like this, and you jump on top of them. I certainly wouldn't use this too often, but knowledge is power.
Like that?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Where do you get this shit from, like Reddit?
Right.
On Bind, we've seen the stark difference in philosophies in NA versus EU. I hope this video gave you some insight into how you can improve your own Astra gameplay. I also hope that I didn't come off as overly harsh, as I doubt that the reason for these stars come from any player alone. Rather, I think that the whole EU region relies too much on set strats and loses the adaptability that makes NA so strong. As this probably concludes my Astra series for now, until the new map comes out, let me know what other agents you are all interested in as I look into continue to make educational content. As always, thanks for watching through to the end. I read every single comment and have so much fun making these videos. I'm glad they seem to be helping. See you all in the next one.